Still too loud, maybe. Hello, it's Uncle Roddus back again with a vinyl video. It is, what is it? Early February. Actually, it is the 6th of February today. It is Waitangi Day. It's Saturday, so Monday will be a holiday because Waitangi Day is a holiday. So that's really cool. So we have a long weekend. So far this year, I have still not yet spent any of this year's funds on records. So I am on target to not be buying records this year for while I pay off my mortgage. So all of the records that I have been getting in and showing on these videos have been ordered from last year, slowly trickling in for pre-orders. I've had several cancellations where I've had to get refunds because they could not supply them. It really bugs me a wee bit that they have them listed on websites and then they can't stock them. That really annoys me. That's happened 3 or 4 occasions in the last couple of months on Flying Out, who are really usually pretty good. The other thing that's bugging me a bit, and it happens just about every time, is they have pre-orders announced to a certain date, and then we get an email saying that they have been delayed for another 3 or 4 weeks. So I've got a couple like that that are really excited about getting my hands on later this year. I'm still waiting for them. There might be some coming this week. Anyway, what I have done though is over the last couple of weeks I got in and restocked my shelves with all of the records that I've been showing in the videos prior to this, since before Christmas, late November, right through till the New Year and Christmas time. So there were quite a lot, and my shelves are bulging to overflowing. I'm really starting to struggle to get them in, and I'm not really in a position to start putting any more shelving in this place because we are quite full of my wife's books and my books and our DVD collections and all the other crap that we have around this house. It's getting pretty full. I've got 1 cube left in the spare room, which is my New Zealand collection. My wife actually has her records in there. Probably have to kick her out of there soon. Anyway, prattling on. Today I took... So I weeded out a bunch of stuff out of the bins just to try and free up some space. Stuff that I just don't listen to. Stuff that I've inherited. A lot of it I got given when I first started collecting. Some interesting records I played a couple of times, but don't really get into them that much. And just stuff that's not worth me keeping. So I took them in today. I took in 45 records and I got a really good trade. A lot more than I expected to. So I'm really happy about that. So I'll get to that. But... so Flying Out, as I said, they cancelled. They had to refund me a couple of times. I've actually got a $70 credit sitting there waiting to go because another record I ordered before Christmas, they said, oh, we didn't have it in stock. We asked their suppliers. No, they said they could supply it. And then I asked them this week, and they said, nah, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get it. So So that one's sitting there, but there was another one where it was a Bandcamp purchase. I purchased 2 records, and I know several people that purchased records from that seller called 8mm Records from out of the States, and they were 2 New Zealand records, and several people have now had refunds because the guy never communicated, never told us what was going on. No one knew anything what was going on, so we got our money back because I wasn't pissing around with that. So I used that money to pick up this from Flying Out. This is Neil Young's. Now, what is he calling these? PS, is it? PS series? Performance series, I think he's calling them. Archive performance, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, Greendale, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, double live LP of the Greendale stuff. Now, the Greendale record, I have it on CD originally when it came out. Never really got into it that much, but this is actually a lot better. I actually really enjoying this a lot more. So that's really cool. You know, I mean, I do snap up Neil Young stuff. I haven't got everything that he's put out recently. I've missed a few releases. But one of the bonuses with Flying Out is I get you know, and I've shown several times. I've shown records that I got pretty much for free. So they have a shop credit there, and every $1,000 I spend, I get $150 worth of credit. And that's a bloody good return, considering, you know. And you know, they're all free postage. Now their prices aren't the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive around in New Zealand. So they're you know, really good deal. I'm more than willing to pay an extra $5 and then save another $5 from the $10 that it usually costs to get something posted around New Zealand for one record. So Anyway, they gave me a voucher because I'd purchased 100 purchases from their online shop in the last, I don't know, 5 to 6 years. And so, you know, so I went browsing and I come across this and I was really excited. So, I mean, I had to pay a little bit more than what the voucher was worth to get this, but only like another, I don't know, $15, I think. So, Throbbing Gristle, live December 2004, a souvenir of Canberra Sands. So this was a gig, a reunion gig they did back in 2004, and this is actually a reissue of the original issue from the time. So it's a double LP, and it is on this very white vinyl. So yeah, it's a fantastic set, really good. I mean, Throbbing Gristle, I think Genesis P. Orridge passed away, did he not, a couple of years ago, unfortunately. So that's basically the end of them forever. But you know, massive band for me back in my early days of collecting. Back in the early 80s, I came across them on compilations and talked about in the NME and stuff like that, and I collected. I've had a lot of their records over the years. Don't have much on vinyl, but I have quite a lot on CD. I do have the 24 Hours of Throbbing Gristle on CD, the box set that came out in 2003, I believe. That is a fantastic set. So two more that have just come in over the last couple of weeks. So before Christmas, I ordered a whole bunch of stuff from overseas via Amazon, etc., and finally got a copy of this one I've been after for a while, Duran Jones and the Indications. I think this is their third LP, American Love Call. So the first track is called Morning in America, and that's the track that sold me on this record. It's a fantastic piece of soulful, funky, yeah, very, I mean, it's very retro, very, you know, 70s retro funky soul stuff, but this is a lot more mellow than the first record. To be honest, I don't like it as much as the first record, but that particular track I really do like. But couldn't find it in New Zealand, so I ended up buying it. I mean, I could find it on CD, but I couldn't find it on vinyl, so I ended up buying it from Amazon Seller, and that turned up. And then the other one, and I showed some other ones in my last couple of videos that I picked up for the same thing. These were uncut, on uncut CDs, and had impressed me. So this one here is Pip Blom Boat LP. Now they are, I believe, a Dutch kind of post-punk indie band. So the song that got me was Tinfoil off side 2. That's a fantastic piece of sort of edgy, aggressive, post-punky indie stuff. Really good song. The rest of the album doesn't quite match up to that, but it is growing on me, and I've actually I downloaded the download that came with it, and I've been putting it on my phone at work, listening to it on my headphones while I'm working, and yeah, it is actually an impressive album. So yeah, the Duran Jones one is a little disappointing at first, but I'm getting into it. So today, alright, look, I'll do the New Zealand stuff first. So today I got this really good trade, and I picked up 13 records with the trade. Picked up this one, and it's several New Zealand ones off my want list. The Crocodile's first LP from 1980. Now, the Crocodiles had a massive hit off their second album after this in 1981 or 82 called Tears. Jenny Morris is the lead singer, and she is massively respected in the New Zealand music scene. Still around. She's, you know, unfortunately, she's very active in the scene, not musically, but behind the scenes more now, on committees and in organisations that support New Zealand musicians. Unfortunately, she lost her voice, and she had some problems with her voice and her throat, so she can't sing at all anymore. But yeah, really cool. But musically, not as quite good as I was expecting. It's very 80s sounding, of course, 1980. So that was on my want list, so I'm glad to pick that up. And another one I found today on my want list is Rogues and Fools. This LP is the second record from Willie Dyson Blues Band back from 1982. Had listened to this before. It's not bad. Yeah, there is and I think there's a live record that came out before this. I'm just remembering from Discogs, so that's still on my want list. But yeah, I think that was worth picking up. These are records that I kind of had them on my want list as part of my New Zealand collection. They're not, I wouldn't say they're fantastic records and that, but yeah, I'm glad that I picked them up. And I also picked up this one from Ray Columbus, Happy Birthday Rock and Roll, Ray Columbus and the Stargazers from 1976. Ray had some amazingly good pop songs in the 60s with the Invaders. She's a Mod is a New Zealand classic, very Beatles inspired. This is actually a record of cover versions of mostly 50s, I think, believe it. Rock Around the Clock is on here, Heartbreak Hotel. So yeah, probably not something I'm going to listen to a lot, but you know, I'm pleased to have that as part of my collection. It's not something that probably turns up that often around the shops, around the digs. Playing in the background, and I'm really pleased to find this, is blanblanblabs album. This is really their sole LP. There was a couple of split LPs or shared LPs they did with other local bands that, and one was sort of live, I think, but this is really their main LP, and I have it on CD, I think, with expanded tracks on it, but this is the actual original. Now, this is the New Zealand version, because there was an Australian version, but it's on Propeller Records, so that's what's actually playing behind us right now. And Don McLean is still a fantastic songwriter and still putting out a lot of music today. And he's actually, I saw a concert with him recently where he played his new record to us, and it sounded pretty cool. This is actually just drying a bit still, because it was actually, I had to glue the cover, but Kris Knox from New Zealand punk legends The Enemy and the Toy Love, and then the Tall Dwarfs. This is a 12-inch single 3-track on Flying Nun. There's the Flying Nun album there. This is actually, I believe, a reissue, limited edition Australian. It's got a different cover, the black cover. The other cover is all yellow, from what I can see on Discogs. This is the Not Given Lightly is the song that really got Kris Knox much more noticed in New Zealand music circles. I mean, he was always a legend, an underground legend maybe, and the people, serious New Zealand fans would know him, but you know, more to the wider public, not so much. But that was the song, Not Given Lightly, is a love song that he wrote for his wife, his then wife, and his children. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. Some friends of mine played it at their wedding a few years back. Another one from my want list, I'm not sure what this is going to be like, but Ray Wolf. I believe Ray was another Christchurch-based musician from back in the day. He is actually English-born. He arrived in New Zealand quite young, maybe, I can't remember the exact details. And he put out quite a lot of singles in the late 60s and early 70s. This album is from, I think, 1972. It is pretty much the only record he put out back in the day. He did do a jazz standards record in 2007, I understand. So yeah, this has been on my want list, you know, for a while. I have heard a couple of singles that he did, which were pretty cool, but yeah, this was a little bit later, so I'm not quite sure what that's going to end up be like. Right, and the rest of today's scores. So I had to put a lot back. I had a pretty big pile, and then I had to go through them. I had about 6 records that I already had in my collection and that I found in the New Zealand bin. So those were good finds New Zealand-wise. They had quite a lot of good stuff in there, but I had to put some back, and then a couple I had to leave behind. Keith Hartley, the Keith Hartley Band, or the Little Big Band, this record is called. It seems to be alive. From I've listened to side 1, it's a live recording by the sound of it. Big band, lots of people involved. From the early 70s on Duran Records. I have another Keith Hartley record floating around on CD somewhere, so that sounds pretty cool, so I was quite pleased to pick that up. Picked up another ECM for my collection, one I haven't got, and from what I quickly saw on Discogs for reviews on Discogs, this sounds like it's going to be a really good one. This is so I think, yeah, Gary Peacock on bass and Jack DeJohnette on drums, and Keith. This is, yeah, so Keith and Keith on piano. This is quite a well-known trio that played. I think it played a lot of standards, but this is actually an improvisational part that they did. So Changes, it's called, and it's Flying Part 1, Flying Part 2, and then a track called Prism. So I'm looking forward to playing that. I haven't actually played any off that yet. Been, like I say, busy cleaning and just playing some while I've been cleaning. And that doesn't want to go back in this cover. So, yep, that's looking forward to that. So I did work quite well on some interesting bits of jazz. So I picked up this one from Roland Kirk, Reeds and Deeds. This is actually an original New Zealand pressing from 1963, I believe. Mercury, manufactured and distributed by Philips in New Zealand. Had a listen to side 1, pretty impressed with what I heard, so that's looking pretty cool. And I've got some other Roland Kirk later on 70s records that when he changed the name to Roland Kirk, I think it is. So yeah, pick his stuff up. Even better though was this one, and this is actually a blind buy. Had a look at it, but it was the fact that Don Cherry was on this that really caught my interest. It's a gatefold. Now it's from, I think, was it the early, oh well, this is, I think it says 1973, but I think it's originally, this is a German issue from 1973, but I think it originally came out in 1979. Anyway, this is really good. I listened to side 1 and I was really impressed. So yeah, this is the jazz score of the day, I believe. Yeah, and just my cup of tea. Really, really good. So, one of the ones that Flying Nun couldn't source for me, which I ordered before, Flying Out, couldn't source for me, which I ordered before Christmas, and they've given me that $70 shop credit, which I haven't spent yet, was this. And I knew it was down at Penny Lane because I had seen it, but I'd already ordered it. And so last time it was in there, I saw it and didn't pick it up, but it was still there. And so because I didn't order, I couldn't get it from where I ordered it from. I got this copy. So this is the 2020 reissue of Children of God by Swans. Absolutely their best album by a long way. Absolute fantastic record. Could be in my top 10 records of all time, maybe, or very close to it. It's an absolute mind-blowing record. I've got it on CD with World of Skin, I think, which is another project from Michael Gyra. But anyway, the reports are that this sounds really, really good. Although one reviewer on Discog said it wasn't as loud as his original, so he was preferring the original, but the rest of the people were pretty impressed with that. With the reissue, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so I had an original, and I saw an original came up for sale in New Zealand on Trade Me, I think it was, but it was a little bit expensive. So, yeah, really looking forward to that. And then finally, now someone on a Facebook page, I believe, posted this a few days ago, even maybe last week or two. And then when I saw it on the shelf, it kind of clicked in. Oh yeah, I think I saw that. And then I picked it up, had a quick look at it. Yeah. So heavy rock from American come down era, Brown Acid, the first volume, the first trip. So yeah, really obscure acid rock, psych fuzz, blah 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 from the 70s. I really like that sort of shit. I've got a few other compilations, and there's like the Wayfaring stranger ones that I've got two compilations that they did of this sort of kind of music and along this sort of lines, and they're fantastic. So the only name I know is Josephus. The rest of them are totally unknown to me. So really cool. Had to listen to that while I was cleaning some of the other ones. And then so apparently there's a whole series of those brown acid ones, and this is actually volume 11. So they had that there as well. They were cheap for single LPs, but yeah, and actually there's not a lot of information, to be honest, on them. So yeah, not up with the Wayfaring Strangers packaging with the from Numero Group with the big booklets and that. So a bit more budget, unfortunately, but still great music. Really impressed, and I'm glad to find those. So that's pretty busy day of record scoring. So I'm really impressed with that lot, and that will keep me happy for a while. And apart from, like I say, the reissues that I've got on back order, and that's about it. Actually, not many of those to come in. So, but they won't be till next month or March even. So, all right. Well, look, that's me. Quick through quite a few records there for you. And I better carry on. Catch you later. Bye.